Yeah, hi, David. Good morning. I had a question. You've been through this, several seasons before. I'm really curious about how the isolation of players. I mean, I know you guys don't get to hang out in the rooms together very much at all, and how that's making this process more challenging with so many young guys being isolated. You can't bond the way normal teams do in a normal year.
Yeah. I mean, the benefit that we have is that we live together in the lodge, and being that Kentucky has took the safety measures to make sure we're all healthy and that we test regularly. We're able to kind of hang out in each other's rooms. Whereas my old place, we or most college campuses that I know of, like main guys that you aren't living together. So that's been good for us, and we're just trying to do as much as we can, like um, in that aspect right now.
All right, John Hale, we'll go to you. Just remind our guys, players that we'll keep your line muted if you have follow-ups. Go ahead, John.
Davion, as a guy, really the only guy on this team who came from a really successful program, I'm curious, what has this frustration level been like for you? How are you just personally handling the struggles right now?
Um, I mean, I'm fine. I mean, I still understand that it's really early. Um, that things weren't, every season that I played in, things didn't always start off, you know, beautiful. I mean, it's always going to be some form of struggle, but that's the best part about it. How do you fight back? How do you answer to adversity? So, I mean, it's very frustrating. I mean, I'm a huge competitor. I mean, I know the guys around me are huge competitors. I mean, I see a lot of the guys' faces after a loss, and I mean, it hurts. It sucks, but um, it's still very early. We're still figuring it out.
And then I know you have a connection with Jalen Withers from your high school in Carolina. Just what's that relationship like? What's kind of your experience with him?
Yeah, I think he was a freshman when I was a senior in high school, and he was a very quiet kid back then. I mean, we didn't really speak as much, but he's super cool guy. Like so happy that we can compete still at this level. Years later.
Jerry, we go to you. Larry after him.
Yeah, Davion. Earlier, Coach Cal said that three guys, he had picked three guys to sort of deal with issues with the team and other players, and they were older players, he said. And I'm wondering if you were one of those players, and if so, how you see that role.
Yeah, I mean, Coach pulled a couple guys in the office, and he talked about taking the stress off of him of having to deal with the non-negotiables. That should be the responsibility of the guys he selected, and everyone is on board with it. Everyone is agreeing with it and jumping on board. So um, that's what it is.
And I'm wondering, you guys, with the issues you're, trying to get going, does that take away from a rivalry kind of game? You know what I mean? Are you more focused on the issues internally than to get caught up in a rivalry?
Oh no, I don't really want to like drag it out. We're still super focused on what we have right now, and we're still just rolling. We understand the magnitude of this game, and this we know we're representing, and we this is our chance. This is our time. I mean, we're like Coach mentioned, we're gonna get the best from everybody, and especially a team like who really wants to play us. So we're super locked in and focused on Saturday.
Larry Vaught, you're up next. John Long after him.
Davion, a couple of things. Just kind of wondering with the post game after the North Carolina loss and what's gone on the last couple of days, that would seem like that could be either just really tear a team apart or could really help a team kind of come back together. How are you kind of sensing it's going to play out with you guys?
I'm sorry. Can you restate the question?
With some of the things that apparently went on in the locker room after the game Saturday that happened to send a player home on Sunday, things like that can sometimes kind of tear a team completely apart, or it could bond them together and bring them back together and playing even better. How are you sensing things are going to go with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great coaching staff and a great supporting system to help monitor things like that. I don't think it's going to tear us apart at all. I mean, I still think we're a huge family, a huge group. And I mean, coach has brought a guy in who's, spoke with us and helped, kind of just relax everybody, see where our heads are at, and kind of come together after individual meetings with them and, figure things out. Like, we're taking the correct steps. I mean, and like you said, after a loss like that, I mean, who wouldn't be upset? I mean, there's super high emotions. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, this is our lives. And, when things are going rough, I mean, you're always going to be upset. I'm sure, all of you guys is asking me questions are upset when things aren't going your way. So, I just love this team. I love where I see things going. I love the attitudes right now. And it's just special, to still see that even when, things aren't the best right now, we're still working together trying.
And the non-negotiables that coach talked about, exactly what are those?
Yeah, I mean, just controlling your attitude, controlling, can I make this play for someone else? Like he said something like not thinking less of yourself, but in terms of like who you are as a person, but, at the same time, thinking less of yourself in terms when it's time to help someone else. So, I mean, a lot of those things are non-negotiables when he's talking and when he's, trying to teach us. He's been here before, 30 years, and his resume speaks for itself. I mean, it's time to listen. So those things right there are non-negotiable.
John, go ahead.
Hey, Davion, first of all, Merry Christmas. And then secondly, before you got here, you realized how crazy the fans were. And now with you guys being 1-5, can you kind of understand why everybody thinks the sky is falling?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, for them, they're used to winning, and we are too. But I mean, I'm here to say the sky is not falling. It's still blue, and it's all right. Like I said, we're gonna figure this thing out, and we signed up for this. We understand what we're doing. I mean, we're playing in the public's eye. I mean, so there's always gonna be opinions when what you do is public, and I mean, hopefully we still have the support with you guys, but if we don't, we have each other. So.
You mentioned earlier that you feel like that there's still time, and yet there's got to be a point in which a sense of desperation kind of sneaks in. Are you guys anywhere near that point?
No, I mean that right now they're top 25 teams who have lost 2 games. I mean, if you ask me, there's not that big of a difference at this point of the season between 2 and 5. As in our 5 is in our loss number, as we all know. But I mean, we have time to pick it up, and we have the correct staff and everyone around us to do that.
Hi, Lance. I wonder what you would say to someone who might think this is a must-win game on Saturday at Louisville.
I mean, obviously, every game that we go out there, we want to win, but we just want to continue getting better and just, stay on the same path and just continue to work and just get better every day in practice. And, hopefully stuff that we've been practicing translate onto the games.
And I wonder, Coach Cal on his radio show was talking about the game was moved to ESPN because they think the audience wants to see Kentucky executed. And this could be a rallying cry. Let's show ESPN. There's not going to be an execution. You're smiling. What do you make of that? How motivating is something like that?
I mean, just personally, as I know this team, I know that we're all very competitive and that we all want to win so much. So I think that we're just going to go out there and, give it our all and just leave everything on the court and continue to get better. That's all we can really do, just continue to get better.
John Hale, you got next, and then Kyle Tucker again.
Lance, we heard so much about your rebounding abilities as a recruit, and it seemed like that really translated against North Carolina. What was working for you before you fouled out in that game?
Honestly, just playing harder than the guys that were guarding me, and then I was guarding. Just wanting the ball more, and I just know that that's the type of things that I need to do, in order to help this team win when I'm in the game. So whether that be, 5 minutes or 15 minutes, I'm going to go out there and just play my hardest and try to get some offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, and just do what I have to do.
And then now that the Louisville game's here, I'm curious, have you talked to Purvis this week? What has he said about the rivalry game now that it's actually your first one coming?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him yet. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to talk to him tonight. So I'll see about it tonight.
Kyle, go ahead, and then Chris Leach after him.
You kind of already talked about this, Lance, but Cal's been talking about the things that you guys can control. Forget about skill. He said, do the little things, the effort things. Do you feel like that is sort of how you can energize this team and maybe set an example even as a new guy by being what you were in the Carolina game?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to always bring, energy, early morning practice, late night practice, early game, late game. I'm always going to kind of be the same and try to help my team get going. Sometimes that'd be me talking to them, getting them hyped up, or them just watching me go out there and, do what I have to do and just, feed off of me. So that's kind of what I like to do, and I take pride in that.
Chris Leach, you got next.
Hey, Lance, Cal was talking about how, with all the restrictions this preseason, you all weren't able to bond as much as teams normally would. Since you were given a fresh set of teammates coming out of high school, wondering how tough that has been for you to where you haven't gotten to know your teammates like you normally would.
You kind of cut out. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Cal was talking about how because of the restrictions this preseason, you guys weren't able to bond as much as teams normally would. I was just wondering, how tough do you think that has been on all of y'all, and especially you, since you're a freshman and were given new teammates coming out of high school?
I mean, in the beginning, we really didn't hang out with each other at all. But now that the season's, underway and we've been testing and we've stayed in this little mini bubble we have at the lodge, we've been able to, hang out a little bit more and a little bit more often. So honestly, we're still trying, we're still creating team chemistry, and that's just something that's going to keep on coming and, only get better. So we're trying to spend as much time as possible together.
Larry Hawk, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you've talked to Cameron any since he's been gone, and kind of his departure. Was that an eye-opening type thing for you, or just your reaction to it?
I mean, as a team, we all love Cam, and we have talked to him. Cam brings great energy, and he's a great kid. I love Cam. But with the whole thing, that's like him and Coach, and Coach been doing this for a long time, and I don't question anybody's judgment.
Thank you.
Guys, got about another minute or two with Lance here, if you got anything. Brian Kennedy, go ahead.
Going into a game like this Louisville game, I mean, for the fans, it's huge. It's a rivalry game. It's right down the road. As a freshman, this is your first time playing in the game. So do you kind of feel the game yet, or are you just kind of going into this like any other game?
I know that we're playing Louisville. I know that it's a rivalry, but like I said earlier, like this is us against ourselves. We have to continue to get better and just, work on our game and just, fix some of the mistakes that we've been making in past games and just try to, clean up on everything. But obviously we all know that we're playing Louisville and it's going to be a great game.
Jerry, one for you, and then Adam, one with you.
Yeah, Lance, Coach Cal said when he was with us earlier that he's appointed three older guys on the team to sort of be leaders, to sort of deal with internal problems that a player might have. Who are those three, and what sort of things could come up that, they would want to handle?
I mean, we know who those three are in the locker room, and that's where it's kind of going to stay. But they're gonna handle, all this stuff, like the little attitudes that most people have, especially when you come to Kentucky and you get around, other great players. You kind of have to learn, what you can and can't do, and not everything is acceptable that you could do in high school. Because I know sometimes in high school I've done a few things that I would never do here. So it's just like stuff like that, just trying to keep everybody in check and in line, just so we don't have any, little problems that we could just easily avoid.
Adam Zagoria, end us off.
Yeah, hey Lance, you mentioned high school. I'm just wondering, how much do you still talk to like Rick Brunson or any of the people at Camden? Are they giving you any advice or suggestions? And just, how much do you kind of feel like you're representing Camden and New Jersey when you're playing for Kentucky?
I probably talk to Rick about 2 times a week, maybe. But I always keep in contact with, Davion Wagner, just daily, like weekly check-ins and just, just give me advice because obviously he played for Cal and back in Memphis, so he asks me if Cal still does the same things, and we'll just laugh and joke, and he'll give me advice. But I talk to Rick probably after every game.